Hello and welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot and another 5-minute Friday reading. Just a quick few things before we jump in and choose our stones or piles. Is this yes/no reading is definitely meant for questions you already have some involvement in, some entanglement with. So if these, if you're coming with kind of fanciful or unrealistic questions, do you, but you may not get a really coherent answer that, fully makes sense. I think these answers will make much more sense if this is already something you're kind of energetically involved in. Another thing is sometimes we get a maybe, so not a clear yes/no, which I think is beautiful. It shows our capacity for co-creation and free will. So I actually appreciate when there's a maybe. It gives you more flexibility and power in a situation. And last but not least is the term 5-minute Friday, or the name of this reading is really just shorthand for saying it's a quick reading, but oftentimes it will go over 5 minutes. I try not to ever do above 10 minutes, but it is, even though it typically goes more than 5 minutes, they are short readings for you guys. Okay, let's look at these piles. So pile 1, we've got Carnelian. Pile 2, Turquoise. Pile 3 is Dalmatian, Jasper. And pile 4 is green calcite. Or it's kind of like an aqua calcite anyway. Okay, for those of you that enjoy the breath work to bring you into some inspiration and higher guidance, we'll do that now. So put your feet firmly on the ground, feel that support underneath you, and then take in a deep breath and suck the oxygen up and up and up towards the space between your brows. Suck in a little more to add pressure there, and then with an out loud exhale, release. And this opens up the crown chakra as well as activates the third eye, bringing your higher self forward as well as inviting in inspiration. So if you need more time with this, feel free to pause and do a few more breaths, or if you have your own process, what you do you. And when you are ready, the timestamps will be below in the description, so you can jump straight to your pile, and I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. If this is you guys, you picked the Carnelian stone. And just a quick intuitive hit I got from this that may help you to determine if this is your correct pile is it's sort of like you've witnessed something really deep and like the deeper truths around something pertaining to this question that you can't unsee. And it's sort of like, I don't know, I feel like when I have moments like that where I've seen more deeply into something than is typical, and you're just looking at everyone else like you don't get it, like I feel like there's something like that here, where you've seen a deeper truth and you're just sort of like baffled by the obliviousness of others around this. So take that as you may. It doesn't really have to do with the yes/no, but just something around this question that might help you to, just know if you're at the right place. Okay, let's look at the tarot to help decipher if there's a yes, no, or maybe here. 6 of Stones, the Pole Star, Beautiful. The 8 of Vessels with Rebirth. Yeah, I mean, I want to say exactly. It's interesting. I've never really thought of the 6 of Stones or the 6 of Pentacles in this way, but it says exploitation. And I feel like that's and look at the color connection here too. I mean, it's like on point. Yeah, you've seen where something is being exploited around this question and you're just like, what? At the same time, I think that you are really having a moment of hope and optimism, of like knowing, because you've seen something deeper here, what's really going on here. It's sort of like you know how to let go of what you need to let go of and where to go from there, where to go towards some better truth, some truer place, something like that. So it's I'm inclined to say that this is a yes if this question pertains to, am I going in the right direction? Or am I needing to leave something behind because I've seen a truth I cannot unsee anymore? If your question doesn't really resonate to those things, this pole star to me is still I'm just feeling like there's a yes here, whatever your question is. Whatever new kind of hope or vision is coming through, I think it's leading you to a more true place. Yeah, so I do want to say yes here, but I want to say it's a more clear yes if what I've said earlier really resonated. If that doesn't resonate, it's like maybe you're still needing to come into this moment of seeing a deeper truth, but that will help you to see a way forward to something that's more true for you. Okay, let's look at some astrology around this. Aquarius, yeah, with the star, you're awakening to something. Yeah, and then confrontation, opposition, yeah, you're awakening to something. It's helping you to see where something's not right, and you're willing to either confront that within yourself or just in the world, in a sense of just being able to walk away. Or for some of you, you may actually be outwardly confronting something, but I would confirm that you are seeing accurately. And then Scorpio, investigate. This completely aligns with the hit I got from the stone. I was absolutely thinking like there's Scorpion energy or Scorpio energy here. You've seen a deeper truth. You've come into a deeper wisdom. You've seen something that's not on the surface, that not everybody is willing to see or has gone deep enough to see the reality around. Okay, let's look at a few oracle cards. Lunar. I don't know what came up for me immediately, maybe because there's some moon phases kind of moving through this card linearly, is that maybe it's going to take one lunar cycle from seeing this reading for this yes to kind of take hold, and you're going to have to still go through that lunar cycle, which is a 20, well, if we're going through phases, 29.5 day cycle of, experiencing something about this question through a cycle of something. But by the end of one lunar cycle from the date you see this, it's like you'll know exactly what your new North Star or Pole Star is and like where you're headed. Okay, and then we've got a couple tea leaves. Tent, temporary situation, yeah, one lunar cycle. You'll be you'll know your direction after one lunar cycle with this. Rooster, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. And I love seeing this opposition, confrontation that's come through too. Maybe this question is associated with someone that's sort of arrogant or boastful, or the truth you've seen is around that person, or maybe there's just generally on the periphery someone that's irritating you through the next lunar cycle. Yeah, however you want to take that, take it. But it does, oh, and look, there's a moon on this card. It's something's temporary in terms of what you're going to have to still see and experience and witness over the next 29.5 days. But after that point, it's like, you know how to kind of move on and go somewhere more true for you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. If so, I always appreciate the little things, the thumbs up, comments, subscriptions, and I hope to see you guys in more readings. Hello, pile 2. If this is you guys, you picked this turquoise stone. And just an intuitive hit I got from this was, it was actually a really powerful intuitive hit, and typically I don't take those. I usually use those stone intuitive hits to help you decipher if you're at the right pile for the best answer to your yes, no. But this time it felt like this stone was giving me that answer before we even get to the cards, of that there is a yes and there's no stopping it. Like something's been in incubation and spring is about to hit with this question where you're going to start to see visible evidence. So all of that questioning of whether something is going to sprout or take root in your life, or around this question, like that visible evidence is coming through, and once it does, there's no stopping it. And the visual I got was like grasses and tulips. And when I get a strong visual, I often have like a synesthesia thing around scent, and I all of a sudden got this overwhelming scent of grass and tulips, and it was like there's no stopping it. So I want to say yes, there's something, and I've never done that before. I've never done the yes, no based off of that intuitive hit, but something about this, there's no stopping it. So let's see what the cards have to say here. So we have Knight of Stones with Horse, Seven of Vessels with Mourning, and Eight of Stones with Skill. Yeah, you've really invested, I think, in some sort of path in your life, some trajectory where you've had to really work at developing a skill that might bring you value, that you hope will take root in your life in a way that gives you sort of energy and passion and impetuousness and eagerness to be out in the world with it. And what I want to say is, like, yeah, you must have done a really, really good job in dedicating focus and time and effort and practice to developing whatever skill is really about to come on and like feel very visibly evident in your life suddenly. Okay, let's see what the astrology cards have to say. Oh my gosh, ascendant entrance. And that is like the spring point in a chart, is the ascendant point. It's that first house, it's the start of the first house in an astrology chart, which is like, shows what's on the horizon when we're born. And it's associated, at least in my philosophy with astrology, with spring equinox, and that time when new growth starts to be visibly apparent. So like couldn't be a more literal card to get here. Vesta, Hearth. Yes, and Vesta is all about that tending to an inner flame that helps something incubate and make it through primordial waters into something real to be able to take out in the world. Helps us to connect to what lights us up inside and tends to our inner desires. And I feel like this is kind of connected to your skill, like something you've really fed your fire, and the night energy in general too has a fiery connection. So something you've really been feeding in yourself that connects to your personal passion and your personal vitality. You've really been down and deep, but also very aligned and authentic with a skill you've been developing. It's just really beautiful. And there we go, second house, resources. So we have Knight of Stones, which is also about the material world. And this is like ignition. And Seven of Vessels also has a kind of Taurus energy, as does second house. So there is something here. It's like an income that a skill you've invested in that's now about to be able to be like an income or a resource for you because of the patience and the cultivating and the belief and slow sensual molding of something. You now have this resource that can bring you some financial comfort in the world. So wow, great for you guys. And then Oracle card, we have 1. It's like you're so, like this is so, whatever this question is about, or if you connect to a skill you've cultivated, it's like so singularly aligned with who you are and what you've done. So it's like, good job for really aligning with yourself and investing in yourself and taking the time to develop something about yourself that is so centrally and singularly you. Really beautiful. Angel, spiritual guidance, protection from harm. Yeah, and I think you've been in this incubation period where we do tend to have more spiritual protection, especially when that incubation is something that we have some clarity about and just like a deep alignment with. And then dog, far away, a distant friend is thinking of you. So that's beautiful. And maybe this is about the angel. Maybe it is someone who's been in your life, or a distant relative, ancestor who's passed that you either did or didn't know. Maybe that's talking about them. And you've felt that kind of spiritual protection, even though it's not something you can touch, you know. Yeah, so beautiful. And this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Gorgeous reading. Really powerful. It's like I said, I've never had the yes or no come straight from the stone, intuitive hit on the stone, and I purposely don't want it to come there, but it was just like, nope, out of the gate. This is like, you need to know, like, this is about to sprout and there's no stopping it. So there you go. If this resonated, I always appreciate the support in the form of thumbs up. Is the easiest. Always enjoy little comments, and definitely subscribe if you haven't yet. All right, hope to see you guys in more readings. Hello, pile 3. If this is you guys, you picked the Dalmatian Jasper. And just a quick intuitive hit I got off of this stone that doesn't necessarily have to do with the yes or no, but may help you identify if you are at the right reading for your question. Is I just felt sort of this sort of solemnness along with a bit of nostalgia mixed in there, something a little yeah, it's like you're kind of lost in a memory that is partially sweet and partially has you missing something, or yeah, that feels right, like you're missing something. I haven't coughed all day, and that just came up as I said that, and it felt like amplified, like something amplified in me with that cough of like missing something. and a solemnness around it. So not necessarily a yes or no there, just a, you know, intuitive hit to see if you're in the right place or something associated with the question. Okay, let's look at the tarot first to see if we can tease out the yes, the no, or the maybe. King of Vessels, Heron. Page of Vessels, Otter. And Four of Stones, Protection. Oh, this is very interesting. Look at these beautiful animals, though. This is a maybe to me, and I'm going to talk about what I'm feeling here that might help you to either know what to do with your question or gain some insight, or decipher for yourself if there actually might be a yes or no for you specifically, based on what I say here. There's something that it's like there's an inner tension or conflict in you around this question, where it's like sometimes you feel very wise and mature and knowing and confident at something, and then the next minute you feel completely inferior and like a beginner at something. And it's this thing about you with all of this water energy in these first two cards, where something around this question is very fluid and malleable, and it kind of takes on the shape of the environment you're in. So if you're in an environment that supports your authority or brings out your authority, you can feel your authority. But if you're in an environment that has you feeling smaller or questioning or not like aligned with something, it can have you feeling, yeah, smaller and unsure of like how to plug in. And it's just something that you're getting a hold of. And I would say that in reality, you hold that whole spectrum of knowing right timing for bringing out something in yourself. It's like, you know what's called for in given circumstances, and instead of you being so affected by the environment, switching into a place of you affecting the environment properly. And that's something that you're just like learning how to do. You're kind of gaining your strength with it. You're starting to get some insight and then some intuitive knowing about this, that it needs to be flipped, that you are the same in whatever environment you come into. It's just that you need to witness the environment and respond to it correctly through the spectrum of this beautiful thing you hold. And yeah, it's just like you're really gaining your strength and figuring out how to do that, instead of you being the one that's so affected by environment. And I think hearing this, you probably, I hope that clicks, and you probably are like, oh yeah, that's exactly it. That makes so much sense. And so where the maybe is like, you still need time. You're still developing this ability to affect an environment rather than be affected by environment. Yeah, it's like you're still gaining your strength of knowing how to be your same self and just bring out what's the correct thing in response to the environment, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But there's still something incubating here. There's still something you're needing to strengthen and understand here. And that's where I'm having a hard time saying a definitive yes or no. It doesn't even feel like a yes or no question totally to me. It feels like you need time. And so that maybe is dependent on like how well you develop that ability to stay stable in who you are and just bring forward the right thing for the right environment, versus walking into an environment and being completely molded by it and really struggling to get a grasp on who you are because of that. In relation to whatever this question is, I don't think overall, it's like in relation to this specific thing central to your question. So yeah, it depends on how well you can grasp that concept and really develop it and strengthen it and get your legs under you around that. But you have the capacity with this really beautiful spectrum of knowing how to respond and a deep wisdom there. Okay, let's look at some astrology here. Yeah, Taurus, and I love the word under this. It says cultivate. It's like you're cultivating this. It just needs time. And then conjunction, alliance. And to me, that's the effect here, affectation. And really grasping that concept of environment being so central to this question. And so knowing how to join with an environment and not be changed and not be so affected that it dictates who you are, but being able to join with that environment and then know how to affect it properly. And then Pisces, yes, sensitize. You're very, whatever this question relates to, there's something incredibly sensitive in you around it. You have very porous but comprehensive boundaries here, and it takes you time. And that's just like another thing I would add here is like when you go into an environment, give yourself some time to kind of not jump into it fully and immediately and need to engage with the environment right away. Kind of take your time around the perimeter, observe, get a sense of the energy, and even determine if you feel like it's an energy you want to be with. And if you feel okay being in the energy, then decide how you're supposed to respond to the energy there and not let the energy in the room dictate who you become, because you are so absorbent and malleable about this. Like really take in what is there and decide how to present yourself or approach this environment. Okay, let's look at some oracle cards. We've got the Vishuddha chakra, which is the throat chakra. So something about how you express and are clear. So there's something, you know, the way you vocalize, express yourself, that may be central to something in your question of knowing how to, vocalize and express yourself in different environments, and how to do that in the appropriate ways in response to environments, instead of the environment shutting down your response mechanism, your expression mechanism, because you've been flooded or overwhelmed or completely molded by the environment in a way that's not, you. And then a couple tea leaves, time to act, and bouquet, compliments from an admirer. So this to me is saying that maybe you're getting closer to, or maybe just listening to this reading has helped you kind of click something in place, and it's time to start practicing that, the way you can affect environment instead of it always overly affecting you. Time to start practicing that, and maybe there's someone you can confide in about this work you're doing that can kind of witness you in connection to your question in environments and give you sort of feedback, and or ask for feedback from people around how they, view your ability to respond and affect environments, because I think you actually have much more of an impact than you realize. And there, you know, if you ask, again, using your words, your vocalization, ask for feedback from people. And I think that you'll see how much respect people actually have for you and how well you actually do affect environment, and not the other way around than you recognize. And it's always good to get that mirrored back to you, the way you affect circumstances and things and people. Sometimes that's hard for us to see on our own, and we need it mirrored back to us. So that's what I'm feeling here. Okay, we went a little longer than I like, but it felt like a really deep kind of reading for you guys. So I hope that resonated. If it did, I always appreciate the things, the thumbs up, especially, that's very easy, or a little comment, and definitely subscriptions. All right, I hope to see you guys in more readings. Hello, pile 4. If this is you guys, you picked the green calcite. And just a quick intuitive hit I got off of this stone to help you determine if this is your right pile was, I got more just like little images rather than like a succinct message. It was like love, light, seafoam, beach. I don't know if any of those things mean anything to you, and I don't think it has to be literal, but just like the feeling of that. I felt like summer vacation, where you're kind of in this dreamy time warp that's just fun, and I don't know, just like adventure, but in like a little microcosm world type thing. Sort of like, yeah, you enter, there's something here is like entering this, sorry, I'm taking way longer on this than I usually do, but like entering this bubble of time and place where it's like a different world is able to kind of unfold for you. That's, yeah, just filled with new stimulus that's exciting and, you know, heartwarming and just fun-loving kind of thing. So doesn't have to do with the yes or no, but there might be something in that intuitive hit that means something to you or resonates to whether or not this is your pile. Okay, let's look at the tarot to get your yes or no, or maybe. Knight of Arrows with Hawk. 5 of Vessels with Ecstasy. And 4 of Bows with Celebration. Yeah, this is, I mean, just looking at, instead of looking at my traditional tarot associations, I'm just looking at these images, and it just feels so exactly like what I pictured, like a bonfire on the beach and dancing under the stars, and this new, you know, the hawk, it's like taking in this new environment around water and just like downloading and assimilating some sort of new welcome release of energy and heart space going on. So it feels like a yes to me. And I love seeing the 5-pointed star, which does connect to love, or Venus, I guess. Which is interesting. I'm just fully ignoring what the tarot numbers and associations are, and just really getting into the images here. But it feels, yeah, exactly like you've entered that little time warp bubble of time and place, and just a world kind of unfolding within it that's just, yeah, just joyous, and like such a release coming, and so much observation kind of helping you to download and assimilate things. Yeah, beautiful. So yes, if I didn't, I think I already said that, but just in case. Okay, let's look at some astrology. We have Gemini with cross-pollinate. That totally feels with these, you know, expressive cards, like, yeah, something fun, easy, light, flirtatious. Venus right under the card with the star of Venus under it, beloved. Yeah, it's just like beauty, love, fun, playfulness. Ninth house, exploration and adventure. Yeah, going into this microcosm of a whole different world that's giving you a different perspective on life with this hawk. Spectrum, yeah, whatever this question is associated with, it's giving you a whole new way of viewing world and seeing the nuance of things and feeling very vital and alive. Really beautiful. So this was luckily gone quite quickly because I spent so much time on the stone, but it's a very succinct reading. Okay, last two little oracle tea leaf cards. We have funnel, period of frustration, lessons to be learned, and fair man, dealing a relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. I get the visual of someone with blonde hair, someone that you're maybe flirting with. Doesn't have to be a man. If I get a flirtation here. And the funnel, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. That's interesting. It's a new thing in here. So maybe there are dramas within this fun, loving world microcosm that feels like it encompasses this question. You know, when you watch summer camp movies or summer vacation movies, there is always like a drama that unfolds. So maybe there is like a drama, but it's sort of like you crave the, you know, the drama's maybe exciting. And it's giving you a challenge to observe yourself in a new way, maybe like with the hawk here. You're seeing like a new colors of yourself coming out, which can bring all sorts of new associations, and some are positive and some challenge us as we learn to master those new colors and understand them. So there's lessons to learn about the new colors coming forth in you, and I think it's just like enjoy the challenges and the beauties coming forth. It all feels like part of this little bubble of something, this, yeah, whatever's going on here. And I do feel a flirtation with someone fair, maybe blonde or fair. Just be light about it. The stone hit felt that way. Just be light about it. It's like you're in a bubble right now. This isn't totally real life, I feel like. So like have fun. It's really helping whatever this question is associated with. It's really helping you to develop new colors within yourself and really assimilate them and change your worldview completely because of it. So that is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. It's a really fun reading. And if so, I always appreciate thumbs up, little comments, and of course subscriptions. And I hope to see you guys in more readings.